finished, fresh out of school, pink-cheeked and bright-eyed. Began a journey we started. Oh, we were such fools. Torn, the story was steered out of our hands and away from the roots. Faded, the picture of old, we were losing ourselves in the plot. Tell me which story begins at the end. I hate love stories, he grumbled as he settled on the edge of the bed. Why? She asked, setting her book in her lap to look at him. Because it's always about pain. It's always about the angst and how to overcome that, Darling, all love stories are born from heartbreak. They shouldn't have to be. He scoffed lightly, pushing himself up and walking away. She looked after him. Her son really took things personally sometimes. But then it was hard not to sometimes. Jamie had left him heartbroken. She sighed softly, remembering the sweet boy she once knew. Inserting the bookmark in the place where she left reading, she got up from the bed to follow him. As expected, he was sitting on the couch with the remote in his hand and staring resolutely at the TV screen. She glanced at the TV and sighed. You need to switch it on to watch, He looked up and then at the screen. Wordlessly, he switched it on with a button and surfed the channels distractedly. What happened? She asked softly, sitting down beside him. He shuddered once before gritting his teeth and continuing to stare at the TV. She remained quiet, watching the Lannisters pay another debt. She knew he'd speak when he was ready. Pushing him would only make it worse. Jamie has a new boyfriend, he finally spoke, bitter and so sad. I'm sorry, she whispered, taking his hand. Ma, he whispered back, so small and heartbroken that she couldn't help but tuck him into a hug. Do you remember when you were a little boy, she asked, voice soft and soothing? You begged to be woken up every morning in the winters at the crack of dawn. He shook his head. You said, she started, adjusting them to a more comfortable position. You said that the morning dew could heal anything. That maybe it could heal your father too. That if you, my darling son, could collect enough, it would be enough to save him. I shouldn't have encouraged you. But I was so scared that he would hate me and she stopped abruptly. This isn't about me, she murmured. He looked up, eyes bloodshot, but he didn't say a thing. He willed her to keep speaking with a look. She gulped before continuing. Then you blamed yourself when he was gone. And I tried to tell you. My boy, you stopped believing that day. You just cracked your neck and grew up. You were so infinitely grown up for your age, so smart and responsible. I'm sorry that I let it come to this. He shook his head, eyes sliding shut. You have nothing to apologize for, he whispered. You did your best. You couldn't control everything, Ma. I didn't need to control you. But that wasn't my point. My point was that you can't heal or control everything. But you cannot stop hoping. I know. You did your best. You tried so hard, but it went how it had to. You can't lose hope. You can't keep doing this to yourself after a year, after it happened. He sighed. I don't need this from you, Mom. She caught his hand. I'm not saying don't be sad. God, cry your lungs out. Be sad. But never forget that there's a life beyond Jamie. That it doesn't end here. He looked over her, eyes showing his vulnerability. He sighed, quietly turning around. I don't know how to do that. It'll be hard, she said, pain underlying her voice. But you can do anything. The winter dew did not save your father, but it saved me. He realized that his mouth was open as he stared at her. There was nothing to say except hug her tight. I love you. I love you too. Thank you.